Hello and welcome to episode 71 of our SAP on Azure Video Podcast. Today is December 9th, and together with Robert and Goran, we're here to talk about anything related to SAP and Microsoft. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
So today we continue our community edition and have Jan Tretina with us. He's working as a cloud solution architect in the CEE region, and he will share some insights on his work there in this region and also show us a demo on Azure Bicep. But before we go there, let's quickly take a look at some of the news from this week. And actually, let me share again my screen here. Here we go. So I want to start with something that we mentioned before. So the Cloud Appliance Library, we have been working with SAP on the Cloud Appliance Library being able to deploy production-ready systems. And we had a pilot phase, very restricted pilot phase, where we had already worked with a few customers and other folks. And now we're actually opening this up to more customers and partners. So if you want to deploy a productive S/4HANA 2020 FPS 02, either in an HA setup or not an HA setup, then just go to cal.sap.com. Make sure that here in the type dropdown you select production solutions, and then you can actually first you need to register once because it's still not fully open. It's still a little gated. So click on register, and then you would be able to deploy a productive S/4HANA system using the Cloud Appliance Library. So I think that's a pretty cool thing if you want to get started, or if you need a system that you can really also use in a productive environment. The next thing that I want to highlight is a blog post from Martin. He just released this today. Hey, where's my Xbox? So working on a story like right now, Xbox are out of stock. And it could be a nice scenario that you want to be notified when an Xbox is actually back in store, or you could have a premium service. So it's all about events, events that are sent out from an SAP system, and then you do something with these events on the Microsoft side. So Martin worked together with Bart and Thijs to actually create a nice scenario. So basically, again, you have, or actually, we start with a customer, with an end user who subscribes to a premium program, to a VIP service, and once an Xbox arrives in the SAP system, then we send out a notification to Azure Service Bus. We have a logic app that then listens to these events basically, and using some other services then sends out a notification to your mobile device. So a really nice end-to-end scenario that uses different kinds of eventing services. So actually, or ideas. There is actually a nice table that some of the services that Martin, Bart, and Thijs evaluated what could be done. So there's the event enablement package from SAP. There's an add-on from Azapio. There's even there's other third-party solutions like Data Vault Glue. There's also the open source tool that is available on GitHub, the ABAP SDK for Azure. And basically what Martin describes here is how you can use these services to send out the event. Like with, I think, all of his blog posts, it's not only the description here, but he also has references to a GitHub repository. So if you want to replicate all of this, then you can just head over to the GitHub repository and try it out by yourself. Next blog post, or actually two blog posts, I missed this one last week. So we talked about Bartosz's OData series, extracting SAP data using OData. So part 3 was released 2 weeks ago on Metadata Store. Now he has released part 4, which is handling large volumes of data, which I thought was very interesting. Also, the first time that these blog posts were released. So here he's really talking about sending the data in certain data chunks. So really using skip and $top parameters to not retrieve all the data at once, but really to get it in bits and pieces. And I think that's again a really nice blog post that talks about these scenarios. Then one last thing that I want to talk about is the ABAP conference. So just today there was an all-day event from the community where community members basically had an all-day event where they talked about everything related to ABAP. There were 2 YouTube live streams, and I think all of them will obviously be also available afterwards. If you have not seen it, then there's all the content is there, and there were some really cool speakers there. Obviously, I could not attend all the sessions, and since they were in parallel, that's also a little tricky. But there was a lot of content around ABAP, and I think especially in the keynotes, I saw up to 800 participants. So that clearly showed that ABAP is still very relevant for the SAP ecosystem.
Of course, always will be. So,
always will be, yes.
Yeah. So is it free?
It's free. It was completely free. And what I really liked, it was really community driven. So this is really Tobias Hoffmann, Sören.
Cool.
Yeah. No, I don't remember his last name anymore. But this was really something that was organized by the community, and there were a lot of sessions from different members. There was actually also Gopal was also presenting on how ABAP is basically being used within Microsoft. So I think that was also a very nice contribution from Microsoft to this event. Good. That's all that I had for this week. So with this, let's hand over to Jan. Jan, maybe you can quickly introduce yourself, and then, let's get started.
Thanks, Holger. Thanks, guys. First of all, I would like to mention you really rock, guys, because that's what you are doing. It's a really great job, and for me, it's a huge pleasure to be here. So thanks for having me. As Holger already introduced me, my name is Jan. I'm an SAP on Azure Cloud Solution Architect based in Czech Republic, and I'm covering Central and Eastern Europe region, CEE. I joined Microsoft I think it was pretty much the same time like you, Holger, right? More than 4 years ago.
Yes.
Time flies. And it was from a company called Tieto, now Tieto Every. It's I think the biggest IT service provider in Finland, covering especially Nordics. So I was doing SAP Basis job there, SAP Architect. And I joined Microsoft to an organization called GBB. At the time, it was a global black belt team. I think we were like 6 or maybe 8 of us covering EMEA. Then maybe the same number in the US and then Asia and Pacific. So in total, 30 people to cover the SAP on Azure worldwide business at the time. 4 years later, I think we are now 10 times more, which is, you can clearly see, the priority and really high focus from Microsoft side when it comes to SAP on Azure business. So GBB, I was pretty much alone. No SAP specialists, no sales guys, only me, like a technical folk. Like I said, mostly responsible for CEE. At the time, it was also mostly about running workshops, right, Holger? You remember when we were running really on a weekly basis workshops for partners to establish a partner ecosystem, because at the time it was not so mature like nowadays.
Yeah.
So it was a top priority, top task for us at the time. Then I think GBB was transferred somehow to SPT, Strategic Pursuit Team. So I joined the team as well. I don't know if you, Holger, were still part of that, or you already
That was
left?
my time when I switched roles. I didn't go to SPT. After GBB, I joined the account team for SAP, actually. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, with Martin, right?
Yes, exactly.
So SPT. Still, main focus was on CEE, but I was also helping a bit in West Europe and especially in Nordics, thanks to my connection to Tieto. I was driving some deals and helping with my ex-customers pretty much. So it was SPT, and then 2 years ago I joined the organization called CSU, Customer Success Unit, where I am now. I would say my role and responsibility is pretty much still the same. Different org, but the, let's say, daily tasks are pretty much the same. I'm involved in the SAP on Azure sales process basically from the beginning. Obviously, now we have so-called V team pretty much established. We have now SAP PDM, Partner Development Manager. Mm-hmm. It's Vlada Polakova, also based in Czech, so she's helping a lot with connections and cooperations with SAP across CEE in all countries, which might be a challenge. I will show you in a minute. We have also CSA from Partners team. So he is Andrej Sedláček, also based in Czech, so pretty much Czech V team, I would call it. And he's obviously the main focus for him is to onboard SAP on Azure partners. Mm-hmm. Finally, last but not least, we have also SAP sales specialist. It's lady Madalina Wagman. She joined quite recently, basically this fiscal year, based in Romania, and now she's really helping with the pre-sales activities and to really get in touch with first interactions with the potential SAP on Azure customers. Cool. Good. With that, maybe let me share my screen and quickly show you what it means CEE region from a Microsoft perspective. Because, as I said, CEE stands for Central and Eastern Europe. And you see here, it's really a huge list of countries, right? And what I need to say here and mention that CEE means something else for maybe SAP and also maybe also for our GSIs like Accenture, Atos, DXC or EY. When it comes to CEE, they also have different list of countries. And this pretty much brings the first, let's say, challenge what we face here, because when we are talking about, joint pipelines with SAP, nowadays, especially about RISE deals, or with GSIs, then you need to talk really with a lot of people to really cover all the countries listed here. Mm-hmm. So you see here, we have more than 20 European countries in this region, and also maybe a surprise for some of you, also we have Central Asian countries like Kazakhstan or Uzbekistan or even Mongolia. I can mention one example. I was dealing with one customer from Mongolia, and when there was the first interaction, I was like, okay, well, more than happy to help you, but I think it should be my colleagues from Asia to help you with with that project. And then I realized, no, okay, Mongolia is still part of my territory. It was a little bit challenge also from time zone perspective, because it's I think plus 7 hours difference, and also maybe a little bit different mindset when it comes to cloud. Also, for me, it was a little bit challenge because I always focus on European regions like West Europe in Amsterdam and so on. For them, of course, it will not make any sense to go for Amsterdam, right? So then I was checking, okay, what kind of capabilities we have in Singapore, in Southeast Asia. So yeah, a little bit challenge, but nevertheless, it's a matter of our work, right?
But interesting. So from an Azure region perspective, you are mainly, I guess Western Europe is, so EU in Amsterdam, our data centers is probably very important.
Correct. Exactly. We are really waiting for new regions in Poland. It was announced a few months ago, and it should be open next year in summer.
Cool.
This will be probably also a big game changer for a majority of our customers. Another region was announced also in Greece. So this will also help and accelerate business there. So yeah, we have also a region in Austria. And for example, for SAP, CEE means also Austria, but obviously for us, it's already part of West Europe. So again, another difference from this perspective. Yeah.
And
Anyway,
with other
sorry?
partners, it's similar that there's not necessarily the same overlap as you mentioned.
Exactly. Yeah, of course, we do cooperate with local partners. I will touch this topic a bit as well. When it comes to GSIs, again, yeah, different set of countries. So when you really want to talk on a regional, way about joint pipeline, then again you need to get in touch with more people than just like one guy, here. Anyway, I would like to mention 7 subsidiaries. So we, divide the region to subs. Of course, the top priority and the biggest focus is in the biggest countries like Russia, Poland, Czech Republic, and Slovakia. We have also special trio, Greece, Cyprus, and Malta. So it's like a part of one sub. And then we also have a special cluster. We call it CEE multi-country. Multi-country, there are countries from Baltics, from Balkans, and Adriatics. So quite a huge set of countries as well.
Interesting.
Good. So I would like to mention some challenges maybe I'm facing when it comes to CEE, if you allow.
Sure, yeah, of course.
So I would mention the first one is, let's say, cloud mindset, because, the readiness for moving any kind of workloads, including SAP, to Azure is maybe not so high like in the rest of the world, especially in West Europe or in the US. It was worse, yeah. When I joined Microsoft, it was really about like convincing customers, hey, cloud is really more secure than your old on-premise stuff, and it's not only about infrastructure. You can also leverage additional services. But it was really a challenge at the time. Now I need to say it's much better. We have a lot of customers who are establishing this cloud first approach, and they are ready to move their workloads to the cloud.
So was it security kind of dominant topic or concern?
It was, yeah, in the beginning it was really like topic number one. Yeah, when I started the discussion, like presenting our connection with SAP and why to move SAP on Azure, what are the benefits, they usually stopped me. And then, okay, but what about security and compliance and all those elements here? So
then you would make a huge list, like, okay, here you go.
Exactly. But still, it's still even challenging in Russia, for example, because they have strict data compliance regulations and requirements. And I need to mention, even nowadays, we usually just position SAP on Azure as a DR scenario. So then customers can keep their on-premise, primary systems on-premise in Russia, and then we leverage Azure just for DR services.
But I think, for example, if you look at Germany, I think the situation in the beginning was very similar. There was a lot of reluctance, and there were a lot of discussions on why should I go into the cloud? Is it really safe? Does it really work? Does it work with an SAP system?
Yeah.
And I think, in the meantime, this has changed. I think we have definitely proven that you can run an SAP system in Azure. I think we have lots and lots of customers now that really run their SAP systems in Azure, also in Germany. And I think that helped also really change the mindset. So maybe in CEE, it just takes also a little longer, and then we can just do it. So
I agree. We are always a little bit behind, especially West Europe. But yeah, I believe we are coming to or reaching the same position. Second challenge I would mention here is competition, and by competition I mean especially with local hosting providers, because AWS or GCPs are somehow also active in CE, but definitely not like we do. And so, like I said, competition is always and mostly with local providers, which I would say maybe one would think, hey, lucky you, yeah, you don't have to deal with Google or Amazon. But for me, it will be maybe easier if there is a competition purely with public cloud providers, because then I can clearly say, okay, customer is ready for the cloud journey, and they are really not insisting on on-premise stuff, and they are not insisting or checking only infrastructure layer, and the commodity, like VMs and storage. It's always we are trying to compare apples to bananas, which is also a mission impossible. So that's the competition with the local providers. I believe again Polish and Greek data center will also help here to overcome this. And finally, maybe last topic I would love to mention is the fact that most of the large enterprises are usually owned by entities which are outside of this region. Okay. I can of course work with colleagues across regions, and we do this. We call it One Microsoft, which is of course possible, but you can see it brings some complexity and challenges because stakeholders are outside, like I said. So when you talk to local team, they always pointing you to different teams. So it's again a little bit challenging. I can give you a nice example. Škoda Auto, I believe you know this company, automotive manufacturer. Basically, you don't know.
Joke.
Yeah.
Of course.
The biggest company in Czech Republic based on revenue, and a very popular one. And I remember when I met SAP Basis guys from Škoda Auto. I think it was very first SAP TechEd I attended at Microsoft in sunny Barcelona. I believe Robert, Holger, you were there together with me, supporting the booth. Cool demos you were always showing, Holger, and it was all old gold times when you could meet customers and partners on site in person. Definitely different experience than nowadays with all virtual events. So I remember when I met those guys there, presenting SAP on Azure story, how they can land their landscapes to Azure and what would be the benefits for them. They were super excited. So we were thinking about next steps, like maybe workshop, or maybe some on-site activity at their site. And then I obviously reached out to the account team, and they said, "Yeah, cool job, good job you done, but you need to reach out to Volkswagen, because Škoda Auto is part of Volkswagen Group from I think 90s." And I was like, yeah, why not? Yeah, well, I can get in touch with the local team. And then, like I said, it was a little bit challenging with the communication. I remember Volkswagen basically decided it's not a priority at the time for such a project, so project was put on hold. So, like I said, it might be sometimes a little bit more complicated to to talk to really large customers like this. If they are owned with or with their mothers outside of CEE.
But I guess once the project is going, they're extremely happy that they have someone local there directly on site, or without huge time differences and stuff like that. Someone that can really help you.
Exactly.
So I guess this close connection is I think something that is also really relevant.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. My mic is again not working. Yeah. So one question. You mentioned that of course we have a issue in that region because we don't have from Azure region perspective, we don't have anything there. But what is the status with infrastructure there? I heard that most of the country there have a much modern infrastructure than what we have, for example, in Germany, because they're building from scratch. But is this also still a challenge?
Do you mean internet infrastructure?
I mean infrastructure. You can have a region, but if you are not able to have a stable connection to your provider, what is benefit of cloud then?
So you are talking about the network connectivity.
Yeah, network, exactly.
Well, I don't see any issue with that.
Okay.
Yeah, to be honest, it's of course depends on the country. Like if you are far away, really far away, like Kazakhstan maybe, then it might be a challenge because you are completely in the middle, right? So either to go to India region or to go to West Europe. But we landed some projects there, and they were testing latency towards West Europe, and they were more than satisfied. So,
great.
And it was even with side-to-side VPN at the time, I remember. Of course, then they switched to Express Route, but yeah, it was okay.
And I guess you have several breakout points for Express Route also in the region there.
Basically, in every country there is a there is a point of presence. So yeah, you can establish the connectivity through Express Route with with really close connectivity. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
I will also mention partners if you want, because as I said, we have GSIs in every country basically. But I would love to mention also some local partners. Let me start maybe in Russia, where it was actually my very first SAP on Azure workshop for partners. Late November, -10 degrees, snowing already. So a nice opportunity to be in a lovely Moscow. And yeah, I met cool guys there, especially NC Group. It's a local partner, local system integrator. I think they are also managing Lukoil, for example. And now they renamed. Now they are called EAE, Engineering Application, now Enterprise Applications Engineering. So yeah, really cool guys. I really like them. Still having regular touch with those guys. Then if I go a little bit down to Poland. Here I would like to mention a company called SE16N. Have you heard about them?
SE16N, yes, SE16, yeah, of course, yeah. I have heard about them, yeah.
Yeah, I believe everyone who can talk Japanese knows this transaction, to get table content. So, yeah, really cool guys. Fun fact, maybe I was running again workshop for them. Yeah, very first interaction. In order to onboard them for SAP on Azure deals. And it was for the first time when I was presenting this automation framework with Terraform and Ansible. Yeah, at the time, it was really like, I don't know, beta or POC. We could just deploy SAP HANA with HSR, utilizing Pacemaker fully automatically. I would say within maybe 1 hour, you get the system up and running. So I was showing this. There was also hands-on activity with basis guys, and there was a CEO of this company and also co-founder. And when he saw it, he was like stating to his team, "Yeah, guys, don't tell me anymore. You need like 1 week for such activity." So it was maybe a joke, but you could see their reactions. Yeah, it was like, okay, but yeah. Really cool guys. They really quickly established the SAP on Azure skill set, and within few months they were able to land some SAP on Azure deals. So again, really cool guys. I like them. Now they are part of the Software One group. So they were merged, or Software One acquired them. Then maybe if you go to Ukraine, I would like to mention Infopulse. It is a company now part of Tier 2 Every organization. Also cool guys, a lot of skills, not only SAP on Azure, but they're also doing other Microsoft products and services. And it was actually one of the first small partners, small system integrators with advanced SAP on Azure specialization. So they acquired it like, I don't know, already more than 1 year ago, maybe 2 years ago. I'm not sure, to be honest now. But of course, GSIs were like first, but this was really first worldwide SAP on Azure partner with this advanced specialization. And maybe last partner I would like to mention, based in Croatia, Span. Robert, I think it was, you were like employee number 3, 4? Oh, 6, okay, yeah, but still, yeah.
I was director of support for infrastructure, and every of us was director for something. Yeah.
But we still don't know the name. Who was the partner?
So director at the data center,
Span, SPA. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Span. So yeah, I remember also we were together running some kind of, it was event here for their customers. In Zagreb, in Croatia, and I remember it was quite successful event. Not so many people, but the most important customers were there, Like Podravka, I don't know if you know this brand, but Podravka is very popular in CEE region. It's a food company based in Koprivnica in Croatia, and they were able to land with SPAN BW for HANA on Azure, and now we are talking about ERP or S4 HANA. So yeah, cool guys. And yeah, I can't forget about Greece, because if I was talking about experience in Moscow,
Russia minus 10 degrees.
Minus 10. Basically, a few days after
50.
the workshop, I was called to run another workshop in Athens, plus 20 degrees. Yeah, so nothing against Moscow, but come on, yeah, it's a completely different experience. And yeah, also guys I met there. I need to mention Real Consulting, also a very strong partner for SAP on Azure business there, or Teka. They delivered very first SAP on Azure public case study in CEE, so also cool guys.
This can be challenging if you pack your clothes in the wrong order,
Yeah, exactly.
No, but that's actually really, really interesting. The breadth of cultures and countries that you need to cover. I think that is something that is really, really challenging, because I wasn't aware that CEE is so big. And that, as you said, simply from a temperature perspective, you can have all these extremes. But then if you look at the different conditions that these customers are already in, the infrastructure, like what you said, Robert, I would expect that depending on the country, the region that you're in, there are different hurdles and interesting setup that you need to run there. So cool.
Yep. So that was about CEE, guys.
Perfect.
Great. Yeah, great.
So now, with all these customers, you need to install something on Azure.
Of course.
And of course, you can do this with ARM templates. You can do this manually in the portal. But there's another new way what you can do.
Exactly.
One question: when you mention this, all these countries, I mean, someone will say, okay, these all somehow Slavic countries. This is the same language, but it's not. Yeah, we know that. But what with support with those languages? Are we covering that well from Azure perspective?
Good question, Robert. Microsoft presence is everywhere. There is always local team, like local office. In Slovenia, Croatia, Estonia, there are really rather smaller offices than maybe the one in Czech Republic or in Russia, but the presence is there, and it's really a big differentiator against our public cloud competition, right? Because AWS or Google, maybe they have some presence in Poland nowadays, maybe also something is coming to Czech, but they will be not for sure in maybe Croatia or I don't know, in smaller countries like this. So yeah, that's our big plus. So you can talk to the local team in your language. Obviously, for me, it's a challenge. I can understand Slovak and Slavic languages like Croatia or in Slovenia or in Poland. I was thinking about starting to learn Russian because it's also very similar to Czech. But day has only 24 hours, and it's a little bit challenging.
Rather in ABAP, or something.
Yeah, it's in my to-do list for next year. Next to learning to play saxophone. So let's see what will come first.
Perfect.
Good. So yeah, let me now again switch to my browser and show you the rather small and simple repo about HANA Deployment by Bicep language. So yeah, how to start? Maybe, I would like to mention here that we have, of course, ARM templates. And also the structure or the logic here is very similar to a very old one. I believe, Holger, you remember this one. I forked this, so let me go to original one. We used to use it in our workshops, right, for partners. It was pretty much the very first SAP on Azure or SAP HANA automation approach, leveraging ARM templates, leveraging custom script extension, quite straightforward. Only what you will have to do is to download medias, like always, SAP car and SAP HANA server package. Put it into your storage account, then basically you can clone the repo or you can directly deploy to Azure. Yeah. I pretty much use this logic. I was still trying to keep up to date this ARM repos, which are forked, in order to deploy for some maybe really quick demos, also new SAP HANA releases. And last Friday there was a new release, HANA SPS 6 revision 60. So I was thinking, hey, let's not do this again with ARM. Let's maybe use the Bicep language. And why Bicep? So maybe we can go to our official documentation where you can find all the details about Bicep. What's that? It's basically domain-specific language with declarative syntax, meaning pretty much the same logic like Terraform. But if you compare it to especially ARM and JSON templates, it's much more easier to create and understand, which I will show you in a minute. Compared to Terraform, it has also some advantages. Might be like there is a direct and immediate support for all Azure services and resources. You don't have to wait for some plugin to be updated, so you can then use it also with Terraform. One maybe benefit might be also that there is no state file, because everything is on Azure. So once you deploy anything using Bicep, it's already there, so the state is there. You don't have to deal with state files like with Terraform, because there might be some secrets, and you need to secure the access to this. So yeah, that's why basically I decided to create this repo. Maybe let me now switch to Visual Studio Code, where I have already cloned the repo. So you see the structure.
Can you increase the font size a little, maybe, or zoom in? Because I think it's.
I'm trying, and I'm not sure why it's not working.
It is a bit.
Control and mouse button is not working. I don't know why.
Oh, okay.
Control plus maybe.
Let's see Control plus. Sorry, not Shift.
No.
Yeah. Is it better?
It's better.
Yeah, it's getting better. Yeah.
Right. So you see the main Bicep file where I specify all the parameters, like in ARM template. But you can already see it's much more easier to really understand the logic here. What I can also define, and I believe it's also in part of the ARM templates, you can define the target scope. So with that, for example, you can define the scope subscription. So then you can directly create a resource group within this Bicep file. If you define maybe management level or even a tenant level, then you can deploy, for example, some governance stuff or Azure blueprints, stuff like this. Anyway, subscription scope. So I'm deploying everything into the single subscription. Define some parameters like version of SAP HANA, predefined VM SKUs, starting from very small, like for business one, up to 4 terabytes. Of course, I can add more, up to 12. No issues with that. Either you will deploy to existing VNet or to create a new one. Storage account with SAS token, and that's pretty much it. Then there is a resource for creating the resource group, and then I use two simple modules, network one and the VM one. If you go to modules, in the network, you see, again, very simple one. I just specify, the VNet. I specify public, sorry, there is an echo. Then I specify the public IP if it's needed, and obviously network interface card. And finally, if we go to VM Bicep, again, if I go up, some mandatory parameters, then I define the list of VMs. Based on this, I create basically the storage layout. And finally, I'm deploying the VM and deploying the custom script extension. So let me now quickly deploy one. I think I have it in my history. So AZ deployment to subscription in West Europe using the main Bicep file, and I have also created my parameter file where I specify, okay, I will deploy 2 terabytes VM into the existing VNet. Password is stored in my key vault, SAS, SAP storage account, and SAS token is there as well. So with that, I can start the deployment. What it will do now is basically it will convert to ARM template.
Okay, that was my question. Okay.
Yeah, so the Bicep file will be converted automatically in the background to the ARM template, which we can easily see in the portal after a second. And ARM template will obviously forward you to Azure Resource Manager to start the deployment. So maybe let's switch to my portal.
But you're deploying here the infrastructure, right? So you're not deploying the SAP system. You're preparing the infrastructure. So then, as the next step, you can install the SAP system.
It will install SAP HANA as well, using the custom script extension. So if you go to resource groups, it's called SAP HANA Bicep RG. So let's see, it's already here. We should see, okay, all the resources are already here. So if we go to deployments, we can see the templates. So you see the network one is already created. Maybe we can just quickly check it. So if we go to template, you see the template, and you see the standard ARM template. You can also check, for example, this parameter or variable, HANA subnet reference. Quite, pretty much difficult to read. A lot of apostrophes, etc. If I compare it to network one, if I go back, it's just this line. So one line and pretty much really easy logic here. So really, I really like the approach, and I basically now trying to convert all my private repositories from ARM templates to Bicep files. There is a single command which you can leverage. Just Bicep recompile, I believe. But sometimes it's better maybe to start from scratch, because there might be some logic which you don't want to use anymore.
Anyway, for Visual Studio Code, there are also some Bicep extensions that you can use that help you in creating the Bicep files.
And you see already here.
It's cool you are mentioning this because the integration to Visual Studio Code is really cool. If I, for example, would like to create some maybe storage account, so let's name it storage, then I obviously need to specify the resource. So okay, I will go for storage account. All APIs are already here, so let's use the latest one. Now I would go for this option. Here we have an option either to create more storage accounts in the loop. So that's why this for option, or maybe a conditional deployment. So that's why this if option. Here I would just specify required properties.
Oh, nice.
Now we have name, let's call it my storage. Location, it can be a resource group, and obviously the location. SKU name, I'm not sure. Okay, it's here. So let's let's go for maybe the most expensive one, premium zone redundant storage. And finally, kind, again, if you are not sure, Visual Studio will help you. So let's go for storage feed. And that's it. That's how we can easily deploy the storage account.
Cool.
Okay, so
really helpful.
This will obviously take some time, because if we go back, let's go to HANA VM. So 2 terabytes machine, M128S. If you go to disk, I was trying to use the recommended layout. For data disk, 3 log disk with write accelerator. And now if you go to extensions, we should be able to see custom script extension, which is now, of course, still not being in transition mode, but I believe this will take some time.
Cool.
Also, if you go back, if you go to scripts, just quickly, you can see if I go up. Here we will install SAP packages. We create volumes based on the VM size. And finally, we install SAP HANA using batch mode.
Very nice.
Like I said, it's very simple, I would say straightforward repo. I would like to also extend it either with HSR capabilities, so to install also cluster, and also to do some kind of post task, like maybe automatic enablement of SAP on Azure Monitor or Azure Monitor for SAP, or maybe Azure Sentinel for SAP, backup, and so on and so on. Probably it will be done with Ansible task because it will be much easier than with custom script, but yeah, let's see. That's the plan.
Cool, and I can see it is a public repository already, so we'll definitely put the links in the show note as well.
Yeah, everyone feel free to jump in and participate in this repo. So either clone it, fork it, yeah, up to you guys.
Perfect. Thank you, Jan. I think that was really interesting. Also, I have to admit, I read a lot about Bicep, but I have not really seen it in action, and certainly not in the context of SAP. So it sounds.
There is also a cool learning path, yeah. So if you are really not familiar with that, there are some learning paths like fundamentals, or even like how to deploy resources using Azure pipelines with the connection with the Bicep, or at GitHub Actions. Yeah, again, it's
great.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So what are we in some kind of official version, or is still somehow experimental language? Is this now official language from our side?
I think it's already official since maybe 6 months, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
You can see the official repo, and you also see if you want to report some bug or some enhancement, you can clearly see what's the status here. So yeah, I think it's official. It's fully supported. I think it's also here. I think there is some statement that it's it's fully supported by Microsoft. Yeah, so
Can you execute the Bicep in Portal? Like you could the ARM template, you just click it, and then you fill the prem.
Yeah, good question. As far as I know, not yet. It's not yet there. Yeah, I think I also mentioned this here. Yeah, there is no direct way to deploy Bicep files through Azure Portal as with ARM templates, but I believe this feature is coming as well.
Yeah, would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's somehow intermediate language, because the results of Bicep is always ARM template. Yeah. So what you can maybe on the fly create that and just put the link and just send the ARM template, so you'll have the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, great. I think that was really insightful. Also, the insights that you shared with CEE, with the CEE region, I think that was also really nice. And seeing or ending this with a Bicep demo is also really great. So thank you very much, Jan, for joining us today.
It was a pleasure.
Perfect. Good. With this, I think we're done for today. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and see you next week again. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Guys. Bye-bye.
Take care.